Good morning, hello and welcome to Moneycontrol's live stream. You're watching Opening Bell with me, Lavisha Darad. Well, it's a fresh edition and we had the markets closing on a positive territory yesterday. Today also the GIFT Nifty is pointing at a mildly positive start. If you look at the pre-opened rates, even they are indicated a mildly positive start for the Indian markets. Well, these open rates have been pointing out to a good start for the Indian markets. If you look at the pre-opened rates, Sensex is up about 250 points and even Nifty is also doing well, up about 120 points in the pre-opened rates. But on that note, let's quickly get on board with our technical expert of the show, Ajit Mishra of Religare Broking. Ajit, good morning. So good to have you on the show.
Yeah, good morning, Lavisha. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Ajit, let me start off. We are seeing buying from the past 2 days. Today also pre-open rates are looking quite positive for the Indian markets. So the initial resistance that we were eyeing for is like 23,350. So what is next beyond that?
That's right. So, Lavisha, in last week also we saw that market struggle to cross that barrier at 24,350, which coincides with the 100 days of exponential moving average. And eventually we managed to end the week on a positive note. And today we see a continuation of that move despite the weaker than expected GDP numbers. So that somewhere shows that bulls are trying their best to reclaim the critical hurdles and inch higher. So possibly, yes, there could be an attempt because the key sectors, IT and banking, which was slightly on the back foot last week, they are also trying to recover, and the others are also participating on the rotational basis. So this is something, the key ingredients that we have, and the good part is that apart from the key sectors, the broader indices, they are also witnessing decent traction. So put together, there is a possibility that we might make an attempt of a breakout about 24,350 in a day or two, and that can help the index to inch toward 24,700.
Okay, all right. Quite a bit of an optimism coming in. Ajit, yesterday largely every other sector participated in the upside, but Bank Nifty barely blinked in the green. So what is the near-term hold for the Bank Nifty index? What are the levels that you're eyeing out for?
So yes, Bank Nifty last week also, Lavisha, we had this challenge of holding above 52,500 marks. So again, just in line with what we are seeing in the index, struggling around 24,350. 52,500 is the critical hurdle that we have for the banking index. A close above this mark would fuel further maybe 1,000 point kind of a recovery in banking index. Otherwise, the sideways tone might continue. Good part is that most of the private banking names, ICICI, HDFC, Axis, they all are largely aligned. Then we have a couple of names like Kotak and IndusInd, which are sitting on the sidelines. So possibly, yes, we might see an attempt of a close above 52,500 in banking index also. And that can propel the index above 24,350 mark in the days to come.
Okay, all right. That is the view coming in for the Bank Nifty index. Ajit, a lot of cement stocks grabbed investors' attention yesterday. We had some like Ultratech Cement. That was the yesterday's Nifty 50 gainer as well. How do the cement stocks look on the charts?
So Lavisha, we all know that the kind of disappointing Q2 that we had, and post that everybody is vouching that the second half is going to be better to what we have observed. Especially in terms of government capex. So maybe that is the reason why we are seeing this recovery or revival in the cement space. Plus the pricing part is also playing a critical role. So I feel that yes, this event or this theme should unfold. But again, here also we are seeing selective participation. Ultratech, Ramco. These are the top two names wherein we are seeing sustained traction. Then we have Adani Group of stock like Ambuja SC. They are witnessing volatile swings as of now. So one should be selective in this space. And Ramco and Ultratech definitely looks good. And yes, apart from that, Grasim also in the last trading session witnessed decent traction. So these are the top three names basically which traders can keep on their radar.
Okay, Ramco and Ultratech Cement, that is the stock that we need to keep on our radar. What about Nifty Realty Index? Yesterday, it hit a 1-month high, and even today, UBS has come out with a report. They have initiated buy calls on several counters as well. They believe that the residential sales could see an uptick. What do you believe? How does the near term hold for realty stocks?
Right. So the reality index, if you see, Lavisha, it peaked out in the month of June, this year, and since then we have been seeing, consolidation tone. So it's a healthy consolidation because prior to that we had, exceptional run across the realty basket, and it seems like that it's more of a like time-wise correction that we are seeing in most of the names, and with this kind of recovery that we are seeing, possibly reality can be among the top performing sectors in the coming quarter as well. So DLF, Oberoi Realty, Godrej Properties, these are some of the names which are leading from the front. So definitely one should keep selective stocks like these on their radar, and uh, DLF definitely tops the list because we feel that the stock has reclaimed all its major averages, and potential to retest record highs seems more likely in the near future.
Okay, all right. DLF is the one stock that you're bullish on. Let's take some stocks in focus. First up is your BPCL. The company has executed a non-binding memorandum of understanding with Coal India to explore the setting up of coal to synthetic natural gas project at Western coalfields through surface coal gasification. Ajit, BPCL, if we look at the stock from 6 months perspective, it hasn't really done well. So what is the near-term hold for BPCL as a stock?
Right. In fact, if you see the energy basket also, Lavisha, after this corrective phase, majority are still sitting on the sidelines, witnessing some consolidation or marginal recovery. BPCL is still struggling below its major average, long-term moving averages. So it's not a good sign. And within the OMC space, I feel HPCL is currently having an upper hand. The stock is holding strong, above its major averages. So BPCL, I feel that any recovery towards 300, 305 level might attract fresh selling pressure. And until we decisively cross or sustain above 320 mark, this sideways tone might continue. So as of now, within the OMC basket, HPCL is a better bet.
Okay, HPCL is the better bet than BPCL. Okay, let's move on to another stock in focus, which is your Nazara Tech. The company has announced strategic investments, which is totaling about 196 crore rupees to expand its presence across gaming, entertainment and education sectors. Now, this includes the acquisition of 60% stake in Funky Monkeys for 43 crore rupees. Ajit, Nazara Tech, the stock did hit 52-week high in September, but it hasn't been performing well after that. Do you believe that this expansion strategy could bring some optimism in the stock?
So possibly yes, because we made a low last year in March, and since then the stock has been gradually inching higher. Though the journey has not been that smooth because it's been volatile swings that we are seeing in the stock. Still, the recent pause that we are seeing in the stock is healthy, considering that the stock has capped the overall movement in the range formation. So that is something which is positive, and I feel that now we have this support closer to around 900, 920 zone. So that's a strong pivot that the stock has formed. So positionally, yes, once we cross this barrier of 1100, then gradually it can inch toward 1250 to 1300 mark. So those having a time horizon of let's say 1 to 2 months, they can start accumulating the stock with 900 being the closing stop loss and positionally a target of around 1200.
Okay, 1200 is the resistance that we're eyeing out for Nazara Tech. But less than 5 seconds left for the opening bell. We'll be addressing how the stocks have been reacting on the opening session. And we're expecting a positive start for the Indian markets because the pre-open rates also indicated for a positive start. And let's see whether or not the Sensex and Nifty extend their winning streak to the third straight day. Well, first rates on your screen, Nifty above that 24,300 mark on your screen. So quite a positive start from the Indian markets. We can see Sensex is also doing well. Sensex is also up about 100 points above that 8,300 mark at this position point of time. If you look at some of the sectoral indices, they're also doing well. Just a bit of a time before they refresh on your screen. Apart from that, we can see a lot of optimism which is building in for the rest of the markets as well. If you look at some of the top gainers on the automotive sector, yesterday we had the November sales figures that came out for the auto stocks, and even Nifty Auto Index did well, which rose about nearly 1% in trade. Today also Tata Motors, M&M, Hyundai Motor, TVS Motor, all of them doing well, showing up to a gain of about nearly 1% in today's trade as well. But if you look at some of the other sectoral indices on how they are doing at this point of time, we will be seeing in just a couple of minutes before we refresh our screens as well. Well, let's see how the broader indices are doing well. Broader indices also doing well. We can see in mid cap and small cap indices, both of them risen about 0.6% in today's trade. If you look at some of the top Nifty 50 gainers, yesterday also Shriram Finance was one of the top Nifty gainer. Today also it's extending its gain, charting above that Nifty 50 gainers list. JSWC Steel, ONGC also one of the top Nifty 50 gainers at this point of time. If you look at other Nifty 50 gainers, that includes the likes of HDFC Bank, Adani Ports and Bharat Electronics as well. So yes, quite a bit of optimism that is coming on for the Nifty 50 gainers. If you look at some of the top Nifty losers at this point of time, we can see the likes of ITC, Cipla, NTPC, Power Grid and Britannia, which is not doing well in today's trading session. If you look at some of the sectors, FMCG is seeing a bit of a beating, down about 1% in today's trade. Apart from that, Bank Nifty is doing well, 0.3% gain coming in for the Bank Nifty index. IT index, metal index, all of them doing well. Apart from FMCG, which is seeing a bit of a backing, rest of the sectors are doing well in today's trading session as well. Let's move to another stock in focus, which is your KPI Green. Well, the company has secured 300 megawatt project order from Coal India. Ajit, the stock hasn't done well in the past 3 months, but Q2 results were promising. So how does it look on the charts for KPI Green?
Right. So KPI Greens, it's broadly in a range for almost 7-8 months now, and again here we are seeing more of time-wise correction in the stock, which is healthy. Considering that in past the move was almost vertical from roughly around 150 to 1050 plus zone. So this recovery, as of now, we are not seeing much of the participation on the volume side. So it could be a gradual recovery from here on, but yes, potential to retest the previous swing high close to around 850 seems high. So traders can maintain their stop losses at 780 levels and hold for 850 as a positional target.
Okay, all right. Let's look at how Torrent Power is doing today. Well, yesterday it kicked off its QIP with a floor price which is set at 1,555 rupees per share. Yesterday also the stock hit 5% upper circuit too. Ajit, how does it look like on the charts for Torrent Power? For what is the near-term hold?
Right. So Torrent Power also, after this correction from its record high from 2000 plus zone to towards its major averages around 1500 mark, we are seeing recovery. But now we are closer to the resistance area, means 1635, which is the current area. We have the short-term averages placed. Then next hurdle close to around 17 and 1710. So from very short-term perspective, that should be your target area. So with stop at 1600, one can wait for 1710 as your position target.
Okay, all right. That is the view coming in for Torrent Power. Let's straight dive into some of the viewer queries because they've been waiting in anticipation and they've lined up on our live feed as well. Well, the first query is coming in from Naveen. He's asking the view on Bharat Electronics. Bharat Electronics is doing well today, one of the top Nifty gainers, Ajit. How does it look for the near term? What does it hold?
So Lavisha, interestingly, what the PSC pack, which was struggling after a phenomenal surge, and they've on an average corrected roughly around 40% from the record highs. BEL was among the top performing names. It didn't participate much on the downside, and in fact, the entire defense basket, they are the one basically which is coming out stronger after this correction. So we feel that BEL is set for the next leg of the move after this recent pause, and the risk reward is also favorable because we have formed a very tight pivot after 4 days of consolidation. So with stop at 295, definitely you can attempt to go long with 325 as the position target in BEL.
All right, 600 positional target we can eye out for BEL. Well, the next query coming in from Ravi Teja is the view on Natco Pharma. Ajit, 6 months charts look quite promising for Natco Pharma. Even the Q2 results were quite good. So what is the near-term hold for Natco Pharma?
So yes, within the pharma basket, we have a couple of names like Divis, Natco, Loris Lab, which has done exceptionally well of late. they all looks upbeat to maintain this overall positive tone. And for Natco specifically, that 1350 is a strong base. It has spent almost a month around that area before inching further upward. So I feel that with stop at 1350, you can definitely maintain your longs. You can buy fresh also. And once we cross above this hurdle of 1460, 1470 decisively, then it can inch towards record high, which is around 1600 plus zone. So the risk to reward is still favorable. You can definitely look to go long as per the recommended levels.
All right. Let's move to another stock viewer query. That is your asking on high holding. Pooja is asking that she's holding Adani Power at 588 levels. So what should she do at this point of time? Adani Power, most of the Adani stocks have come under radar, and we saw a recent correction as well. What is the near-term hold for Adani Power, Ajit?
Yeah, so Pooja, I would recommend you to be strict with your stop losses because Adani Group of stocks, we all know that they were in news and still we are seeing something or the other. So they are extremely volatile. So if the view is short term, we have multiple resistances at 580 to 600 zone. And if the view is short term, you should definitely maintain your stop at 535 because below that, again, it might witness some profit taking. The stock has recovered very strongly, no doubt, but to cross and sustain above 600, I feel there'll be like strong buying interest that would be required. So as of now, I feel that the upside seems capped with around 580 to 600. So use this recovery to reduce your position, and for any fresh buying, let it cross and sustain above 610.
Okay, 610 that needs to cross above. Let's move to another query. That is your Satvika is asking the view on Bank of Baroda. Bank of Baroda, Ajit, past 6 performance, if we look like, it's declined about 15%. But Q2 was quite promising. However, we saw that the margins did come under pressure. So what is the near-term hold for Bank of Baroda as a stock?
Right. So within the PSU basket, Lavisha, we are seeing SBI and Bank of Baroda. They are leading from the front during this recovery. In fact, stock has reclaims all its short-term and long-term moving averages. So it's a kind of a strong base that we have around 242 marks. So that should be your stop loss, and gradually it can inch toward 265 to 270 in the near future. So the risk reward is also favorable. You can definitely stay put, and you can buy fresh also.
All right, buy fresh as well. Let's move to another stock in focus. That is your solar industries. It's seeing a sharp uptick in today's trade, up about 7%. Well, this comes on the back of the company securing an export order which is worth about 2,039 crore rupees for the supply of defense products to international clients. Ajit, after its July high, solar industries, it has been on a downward spiral as well. Can we expect certain optimism to kick in from here on?
So certainly yes, because the stock after its corrective phase, almost retested its long-term averages, and after that, almost like 2 weeks of consolidation, we are seeing this recovery. Today, it has opened gap up. I feel that one should not chase this gap because usually we see this kind of gaps usually get filled in. But if you have an existing position, you should definitely stay put because 10,500 is a strong base now for the stock. And once we break 12,000 mark, then probably we can see a new high in the coming days. So with 10,500 as a stop loss, you can definitely maintain your longs.
Okay, all right. Let's move to a viewer query that is coming on. Pankaj, he's asking the view on SBI Life, please. SBI Life, most of the insurance stocks, they haven't been doing well in the recent trading sessions, Ajit. How does SBI Life look among them?
So yes, it's been a disappointing time for most of these life insurance counters because while the markets are witnessing a recovery, they are gradually drifting lower. So SBI Life from 1950 to 1430, it looks extremely oversold now. So there is a possibility that we might see some respite in days to come. But the upside also seems caps are close to around 1500, 1520, something that we have multiple resistances. So if you have an existing position, you can maintain your longs with 1380 as a stop loss and 1500 as a target area. But if you're planning any fresh trade from the short term point of view, look to the themes and sectors which are relatively stronger than the index. So like banking, IT, then select name from the pharma basket, they are comparatively better.
Okay, all right. Let's move to another viewer query, that is Satya. He's asking the view and the prices to exit from GSFC and GNFC. He's asking the best price to book profits. Well, chemical stocks, they have been quite under pressure, Ajit. After the Q2 performance were also quite tepid for most of the chemical counters. But it looks like, that a lot of experts have been saying that the bottoming, that all the underperformance of the chemical companies have bottomed out, and we could see some recovery from the second half. What do you expect?
Right. So in fact, that is what the price are also, discounting Navisha, because both these stocks, they have recovered very strongly in the last 2 weeks. And for GNFC, I feel that a level close to around 700 is a good point where one can look to book profits. At the same time, I would recommend maintaining a stop loss at 640 to save you, from in case if there'll be any profit taking or consolidation which might kick in. And for GSFC, also the recovery tone is there, and the stock might inch toward 240 to 245 in the near future. So around that area, you can definitely book profit. And for this stock, you can maintain a stop loss at 218.
Okay, 218 is the stop loss that we can see for GSFC. Another viewer query is coming from Abhinav. He's asking the view on Idea Forge. Idea Forge, Ajit, after July, the stock has been on a downward spiral. Even the Q2, it had recorded a net loss. So what is the near-term hold? Can we expect more pressure to build on from here on?
So yes, the stock is completely in a bear trend, and every time we see some recovery, the selling pressure comes in, and there is a possibility that we might see again a recovery attempt, because the stock has consolidated in a tight range for almost 2 weeks now. So it might make an attempt to inch towards 620 area. So around that area, if you are stuck in this stock, you should definitely try to exit. And in the interim, you should also maintain a stop loss at 570, because if it breaks 570 first, then there could be a new 52-week low that the stock might witness.
All right, new 52-week low that the stock might witness. Another viewer query that is coming in from Satvika. She's asking the view on BMW Industries. BMW Industries, after the September highs, the stock has been, not really performing well. So what do you expect? What is the near-term hold for BMW Industries, Ajit?
Can you please name the stock again?
BMW Industries. That is the stock that she's asking the view query on.
BMW Industry, because I've never heard of this stock before. And okay, so it's listed in BSC. That's the reason I've never heard of this name before. And it's been almost a range, Lavisha, that 55 to 85 is something that's been hovering in. So until we sustain above 65 mark, I doubt that we can see any meaningful recovery. So if the view is short term, you may exit and let the stock surpass 65 decisively. Then only you should enter for a potential target of 75 to 85 in the coming days.
Okay, all right. Let's move to another stock in focus, that is your Bharat Global Developers. Smith is asking, what is the views on Bharat Global Developers? Any view on the stock, Ajit?
Right. Again, I guess it's
a BSE listed entity. Yes.
Global.
If you look at some of the charts, Yeah,
if you can share me the symbol, it will be easier for me to identify, because I'm usually not tracking these names. So
okay, sure. Let's move on to. That's okay. We'll move on to some other query. Let's look at Indegene. Indegene stock that has been in focus today because of the block deal encounter. So how does Indegene look on the charts, Ajit? What can we expect from here on for the stock?
Right. So Indegene is something which is hovering in this range of 600 to 700 for almost nearly 2-3 months now, and we are closer to the lower band. So there's a possibility that we might make an attempt post this block deal, and 614, that should be a stop loss if you have any existing position and if you're planning any fresh trade also, because largely it's the area basically from where we should see some recovery coming in. So positionally around 660 to 670 is something that it might attempt. So yes, the risk reward is favorable. You can go ahead with long positions.
All right. Let's move on to another viewer query. Alex is asking the view on data patterns. Data patterns, Ajit, if we look at some of the 6 months charts, it hasn't really performed well. 3 months also it is down about, 6%. YTD, however, it has shown some promising figures. But what is the near-term hold for data patterns from here on?
Right. So this stock looks interesting because it's a kind of a reversal pattern that the stock has formed on the daily graph. It has its major averages. So again, a good point. So all indications are in the favor that we are set for the recovery towards 2850 to 2900. So with stop at 2400, definitely you can attempt to go long at current levels, or rather you can accumulate because it's a slow mover in the range of 2500, 2550, and potentially wait for around 2800 as a positional target.
All right. Let's move on to another viewer query that is coming in on Union Bank of India. Well, if you look at 6 months, of course, another PSU lender that hasn't really performed well. Rajesh is asking, what is the outlook for the next 1 year for Union Bank of India?
So Rajesh, we all know that the PSU stocks have had exceptional run, but Union Bank is also witnessing recovery in line with what we are seeing in the other PSU names. But comparatively, I feel SBI is a better candidate. If somebody is looking at Union Bank only as an option, then maybe close to around 135 to 140 is something that it might face a hurdle first, and then around 155 to 160, which is the previous swing high. So in the next 1 year, in case if it reclaims its record high, its 52-week high, I feel that will be like a significant move. So as of now, I feel that 110 is the strong base. So it should not violate that area if this tone has to maintain. So if your view is, let's say, for 6 months to 1 year, we should definitely watch out for 110 as a critical support for this entire recovery phase.
All right. Even in today's trade, we can see that PSU bank stocks are buzzing. Be it the likes of SBI, Bank of Baroda or Union Bank, all of them are doing well. But just one last question before we let you go, Ajit. What are your trading picks at this point of time? We're seeing a bit of a recovery in the markets, but what can be a good, buy on dip strategy or a sell and rise strategy at this point?
Right. So, Lavisha, I feel that one should definitely focus more on long trades, because if you'll see the themes and sectors, plus the broader indices also, today also we are seeing the advanced decline ratio in the favor of bulls. So one should definitely look at more of positive names. Yes, we are still in a wait and watch mode when it comes to a breakout from the index. But we are getting opportunities across the board. So from the PSU market itself, SBI is something that we like and which one can look to go long. Even at current levels, 834 should be a stop loss for this position and 870 should be a target area. Another stock that we like is Bharti Airtel. The stock has recently, witnessed decent traction and it's set for the next leg of the up move. And positionally, 1605 is something one should maintain as a stop loss, and 1715 is what we are eyeing as a target area.
All right. With that, we have to let you go, Ajit. Thank you so much for giving out your time and answering the viewer queries. We hope that we connect with you soon.
Thank you. Thank you, Rich.
Right, I think there is some audio issue that we are still currently facing. But with that, we have come to an end of this edition of the Opening Bell. Don't go anywhere. We will be connecting at the closing bell at 3:30 p.m. We'll be discussing about how the market is developed, what the stocks are in focus. Until then, signing off. Do stay tuned to moneycontrol.com for all the news updates and market insights.